What's going on, guys? It's Jirava side, and today we'll be doing a tireless video, but I'm gonna exclude Speed Sonic because I don't have him. I mean, I don't have Fubuki as well, right? But I have played her in this mini type game, the dungeon one that it's in the gaming club. So there you can play with the characters that you don't even have, such as Fubuki. But Speed Sonic was available in the previous week. I had no plans of making this video then, so I had no footage of him. I have tested him. I mean, he's decent character, but I don't have enough information, so I can add him to the tab list, right? So we'll be speaking about these characters over here, right? But before that, I want to say thank you guys, because in my previous videos, I'm so glad that in my last video actually, you guys shared the same opinion as me about the things I said. So really thank you guys for real. But yeah, let's continue with the tireless video, because I'm pretty sure I said in my last video that you don't need an explanation for every character, right? Because you just gotta read, right? But there is one more thing. If you don't have the certain character, right, you don't have the information for it. Like, you cannot see his or her potential and shit, so you may not have the information about the character, and you wouldn't know if it's worth to summon for it. Like, there is a Saitama banner right now, which by the way a lot of people dislike, but I think it's Gucci because it's better to have dupes, right? Since the potentials gives you the most power, and I think getting dupes and getting your character have a bigger potential and shit is more important than having a new character such as Turbo Tornado. But yeah, that's my opinion. I would summon for dupes. I will actually summon for Saitama right now, so I can get dupes of him. I'm kinda lacking of power. I mean, so yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna make this video so you guys have information about the characters, at least the ones I got, except Speed Sonic. I'm gonna talk only about the SSR characters. So yeah, take your notes on which character to summon. I mean, that's my opinion, right? So you guys can take it. I mean, as I said, that's my opinion. This doesn't mean the characters I'm gonna put to the tires, right, is absolutely 100% right. So it's up to you guys. That's my experience. I'm gonna share what I know. So okay, let's start with Saitama, the Dream World Saitama, right? Well, that was actually my first SSR character in the game. Well, firstly, he has a lot of combos. Like, you can use your dodge and then normal attack. This is gonna do even more damage and gives you these hot blood points, right? Which you can use to activate your third skill. You gotta stack hot blood points. So yeah, I mean, his first skill hits the enemy 6 times and gets you 6 points of hot blood points, as far as I remember. This skill also has a second attack. Like, I mean, you can use it in 2 different ways, right? So one of the ways is just clicking the first skill and attacking 6 times, like hitting the enemy with punches 6 times. And the second way of using your first skill is like, while you're running or dodging, clicking the first skill, right? So you can attack the enemy from the air and even do even more damage and get even more hot blood points, which is, as I said, benefit you to get your third skill faster. Absolutely, by the way, goes for his second skill, which you can use it in 2 different ways. You can just kick the enemy by pressing your second skill, or again while dodging or running, you can hit it with even from a distance, and again it gives you more hot blood points and you do even more damage. Now his third skill, right, which is actually the hot blooded resonance, that's how you call it, which gives you 150% boost in your stamina speed, and that's for 20 seconds, guys, which literally gives you infinity dodges, right? Since you got 150 boost in your stamina speed, which actually, no, I mean, literally means you got infinity dodges, which is insane. That's why I like the Saitama character in this game so much. and you also deal more damage. And when I say even more damage, besides your basic attacks that's gonna do a lot of damage, right after the 20 seconds expire, you can click the third skill again to do a damage that's equals 1500% of Saitama's attack, which is absolutely insane, right? So you want him to have like attack, HP and defense, since he's kind of a tanky character, but in the same time he does a lot of damage and he has these infinity dodges, right? And you gotta have this stat on your wheels and memories that gives you accurate dodges. There is a stat that gives that, so keep that in mind. And if you can afford it, use it. Yeah, I mean, put that on him. It's gonna help him a lot. But for me, that's a must build character for sure. I mean, infinity dodges, super big damage, kinda tanky. What else you want? I mean, the only thing he don't have is literally bank range, right? So that's for Saitama. Now let's talk about Genos, right? The Cyborg of Justice. Well, I mean, he's a range and melee type character in the same time, right? And he's free. I mean, the game gives you Genos for free when you start. I mean, you gotta do some quests and shit, but yeah, he's easy obtainable, right? So he can switch between his range and melee forms, right? While he's attacking with a certain form and gathers points attack, which this point stacking, not attack. You stack these points so you can switch between his forms, right? The range type and the melee attack one. So his first melee skill, because yeah, when you switch the forms, the skills are being different, like range or melee, depending on which form are you on. So his first melee skill teleports you behind the enemy and you kick it. Simple as that. And his range first skill shoots 4 cannons from a distance, and you can even move while you are shooting these cannons, right? About his second melee skill, he hits the enemy multiple times and ends with a big punch, which deals a lot of damage. Meanwhile, while you use your second melee skill, you cannot be knocked out, so keep that in mind as well. And his second range skill shoots an energy blast, which you can control, like moving it wherever you want, and damages the enemy. Like, it's a very big damage, ain't gonna lie. And it's kinda AoE damage, because if there is an enemy standing behind the enemy that you're currently attacking, he's gonna take damage as well. So that's a Gucci second skill, but have that in mind that you cannot move Genos while you're using your second range type skill. And finally, his third skill, this is the trigger for switching between the melee and the range type form, right? And also refreshes the cooldown of your skills. Even gives you an additional usage of the first and second skill. So you want him to have attack, critical rate and critical damage, right? Since he benefits from the critical rate because his fourth potential tire gives him more damage based on his critical rate, right? So also his fourth potential, by the way, gives him composure damage based on the crit rate he has. So you can add also composure damage, composure stats damage on your memories and wills as well. So I wouldn't say he's a must build, but since the game gives him for free, right? And if you don't have any range type character, he is a must build because he is free, right? But if the game wasn't giving him for free, I would say he's just decent, right? So you're gonna build him for sure because he's free, and this will be probably your first SSR character. So yeah, I mean, he's must build, but in the same time, compared to the other character, he's just decent. So we will leave him at the decent spot over here, and that will be for Genos. Okay, now Meta Knight, right? Well, this was the guy who I choose from the event type shit, where he was supposed to choose between Silverfang, Meta Knight, and Puri Prisoner. So I took the Meta Knight. Firstly, because he's a range type character, and I was lacking of range type characters. And secondly, because he has a lot of damage. But anyway, the game gave me Puri Prisoner and Silverfang after that, so no complaints, right? Well, as I said, he does a lot of damage, so he's kinda squishy, have that in mind, guys. So he's a range type character, as I said, that's full damage, and he's lacking survivability, unfortunately. His normal attacks are kinda weird, by the way. He launches these rockets toward the enemy, and you gotta reward them with a timing arrow near your HP bar. So yeah, have that in mind that he's kinda tricky. But yeah, you can also activate your third skill, and that way he shoots all his rockets or missiles, whatever you want to call it, at once, but you still got a reward after that. But yeah, he's gonna shoot like 10 or 15, I'm not sure how much the rockets are, but you're gonna shoot them all at the same time, right? If you activate your third skill before that. So yeah, about his first skill is kind of simple. He releases this marked area in front of him, and which is moving, by the way, and you gotta stop it right on the spot you wish and rain out of rockets to attack. Like, yeah, again, it's kind of tricky, so I would say that if you got Metal Knight, let the AI take over it. I wouldn't play with him because, as I said, he's lacking survivability, he's kind of tricky. But yeah, so you basically gotta time it perfectly in every single case, right? About his second skill, I mean, it's a simple area attack that shoots in front of you, multiple rockets all over, so that's all, literally. His third skill, as I said, enhances all of your skills, not only your basic attacks, as I said, but even your first skill, right? Like, it adds one or more charge of your first skill, right? Or it makes your second skill firing flamed rockets. So your second skill is gonna have rockets that are on fire, literally, which does, again, more damage, logically. Then after you charge your third skill again, like there is a timing, you can use it again, your third skill, right? And when you do it, you unleash an orbital strike, which cannot miss in any case, from my experience, of course, and does big damage overall. Like, it's almost like an ultimate skill, literally, does insane damage. So yeah, I will build him attack and composure reduction, kind of, and of course negative crit damage, right? I mean, it's Metal Knight, everyone knows why, I guess. I mean, because of his second potential tower, he deals more damage based on his negative critical damage. So again, you're gonna need to have like a lot of negative critical damage, which means you don't need any critical rate or regular critical damage at all. So yeah. So in which tower he belongs? Well, I say if you got him and if you are fine with letting the AI play with it, I would say he's a must build. But beside that, I mean, he's just decent. If you wanna play with him, he's just decent, right? I'm not, no, actually, yeah, Metal Knight, in my opinion, is way more useful than Genos. But still, if you wanna play with him, he's just decent, right? I mean, he's very slow, lacking survivability. I'm repeating myself, but yeah. But if you are fine with letting the AI play with him, I mean, he's a must build because he does insanely big damage. But yeah, I'm gonna leave him a decent because that's my opinion. So yeah, let's continue with the others. Okay, so Silverfang, right? Well, he's probably the most fun character in the game. I'm not even gonna lie, in my opinion, of course. He's a dodge machine, bro. Like, for real, he's a dodge machine and can block the enemy attacks very easily. Not only blocking the enemy attacks, but you can cancel the enemy attacks. So yeah, he's very fun character for sure, but he requires a lot of skill to be used, and I'm having a lot of fun using him. So yeah, let's begin with his first skill, right? So his first skill performs a back dodge. So it is not only a buff, because yeah, it's a buff skill, but before he buffs himself, he dodges, right? And when he got this buff, right, he can stack his second skill up to 4 times, and you can use this second skill, right, to dodge the enemy attacks. So yeah, as I say, his second skill can block the enemy attacks, but you gotta time it perfectly. Like literally perfectly. And when you use your second skill, let's go to the third skill because they are working together, right? So his third skill is one big damage attack that dashes you towards the enemy, which again can cancel or only dodge the enemy attack. But yeah, you literally teleport yourself behind the enemy or in the direction you're using your skill, right? And you take 0 damage since it's a dodge and shit. But yeah, you gotta stack. In order to use the third skill, you gotta use your second skill to fill up this aura energy. So yeah, as I said, it's a fun character. He relies very much on the dodges, on the timing, so it's kind of a hard character. But yeah, I would build him for sure with a lot of attack, like a lot of attack. And there is dodges, like stats for your memories and wills. So yeah, search out for this dodge affix. Yeah, attack and only the dodge affix memories and wills. That's all I can say about him and his build. So yeah, so where should we rank him? Well, if you are good in the fighting games, right? And just imagine if the developers decides to open up the PvP mode, right? He's a must build. He's even the first must build unit. Like, I mean, just imagine him in PvP. No one is gonna be able to attack you because you're gonna dodge anything and even cancel their attacks. But even without the PvP, he's an amazing character, right? So I would definitely say he's a must build. But that's my opinion, and that's only if you are at least good in the fighting games. Not like professional player or anything. At least you gotta time every single skill perfectly. I mean, especially the second skill. The third skill is not timed, it's just a buff. But the second skill is the most important one. Then the third skill, you gotta time them perfectly. So, in my opinion, he's a must build and very fun character again. So, you see who is coming, right? The girl we are all talking about since she came out in the game. Because that's the first limited character in the game, right? In my opinion, this is the best damage dealer in the game, and I currently am playing only with her, nothing else, like for real. But sadly, as I said, she's a limited due to the limited summoning banner, so I don't know if I'm gonna use her a lot, because when I get dupes on my other characters, since they are from the regular banner, right, she's gonna be lacking potentials, right? So it's up to you guys if you want to summon for her. Have that in mind that the next time she will come back as a summoning banner, it may be after 1 month, it may be after 1 year, so it's up to you guys. But yeah, let's talk about oh my god, about her first skill, right? Well, it's just simple. She strikes lightning looking attack. I mean, it's looking like lightning, but I'm not sure what it is. But yeah, it's a lightning looking attack towards the enemy, which does a lot of damage and gets you telekinesis mark points, which you're gonna need to activate her third skill, but we'll get to there. So yeah, her second skill, it's kinda tricky, right? She spawns a damage circle which pulls the enemy, but if it's not a boss, if it's a boss and it's too heavy, you cannot pull it. But if it's a regular monster, right, pulls the enemies on the center of this circle, right, and deals AoE damage to everyone who is inside the circle, right? And finally, which again gives you telekinesis mark points. And finally, her third skill, right, which you can use only when you obtain no telekinesis mark points. You will see the points on the enemy, right? There will be one green circle on the enemy, you will see it. So when you get the no points, you use your third skill and she throws a rock at the enemy, right, enhancing her basic attacks, and she can use her first skill and the second skill while moving. Beside that, you can hold your attack button, so there will be lightnings rain, like a lot of lightnings are gonna attack the enemy, and if you are using this this hold button, the hold attack button twice, right, she's gonna get this new attack on the third slot of your skills, which deals insanely damage. It's near ultimate damage, right? So yeah, she's a damage machine for sure. She has AoEs and shit. She can move while attacking after you use her third skill. As I said, in my opinion, she's the best damage dealer character in the game. So I will build her attack critical rate and critical damage, since she gathers more attack damage for the amount of critical rate she has, right? That's because of her potentials. I think it's the second potential. So I mean, yeah, we all know we all know she's gonna be a must build unit, right? But sadly, as I said, dupes will be limited. So yeah, she's a must build unit. That's no brainer. So okay, Puri prisoner, right? Well, he's simple again. He's a tank unit. I mean, literally, I'm not saying that he's not doing any damage at all, but he's a tank unit. Yeah, which requires perfect timing on his dodges. I mean, it's not even dodge, it's like blocking, defending himself. So you don't have a dodge on your space button, or if you're using controller, I'm not sure from where you're using the dodge button, but yeah, on keyboard is the space button. So he doesn't have a dodge button, but he can block the enemy attacks, right? Also, his dodge, yeah, I mean, his dodge is different from the other characters in the game, because as I said, he don't have a dodge on the dodge button, but his second skill is literally a dodge. So yeah, he actually defends himself with the dodge button instead of dodging. So yeah, he literally defends himself, like blocking the attack. But yeah, he's a tank that blocks the enemy attacks. That's all we wanna know. Now let's begin with his skills, right? So his first skill makes a weird stance position. I mean, if you guys have played with Puri Prison, you know what I mean, right? If you time it perfectly, it counterattacks and it charges your third skill, right? I mean, your basic attack charges your third skill as well, but not that much. So if you time up your first skill perfectly, you will dodge the enemy attack. Not dodge, you will block the enemy attack. And you're gonna gather these points to charge up your third skill, right? So his second skill is basically a general dodge. Like as I said, it's just the space button on your keyboard, the dodge button. I'm not sure where it is on the controller. So yeah, it's literally a dodge. And finally, when you gather enough points to use his third skill, right? He does a multiple hits, and you can multiple use the third skill depending on how much you charge it up, right? And he does insanely big damage, which can be AoE depending on the situation, like how many enemies are in front of you. So yeah, just build him HP defense and the perfect accurate defense block on the affix of the memories and wheels, right? So he's just a tank unit. I would say, oh, that's a tough one. I mean, he's not must build for sure, but I'm trying to decide between this and if that's how you got, right? Because as I said, he's just a tank unit, and we are not in that point where we need to tank. We clearly don't need any tank units, because if you want to play him, he's bored and he requires you a lot of timings and shit. He doesn't have the damage to finish the enemy. But at the same time, if the AI is controlling this guy, Purple Prisoner, right? I mean, the monsters and the bosses are still gonna target the character you are controlling, right? So they're not gonna target the tank. That's unfortunately. I hope the developers are gonna fix that. But for now, if that's all you got, like, if that's the only element, like the red element, which is Saitama, right? If that's how you got, I mean, yeah, build him. If not, you can dodge these big bullets, right? So yeah. Okay, so Zombieman. Well, he's very risky unit, right? I mean, people are debating between him and Terrible Tornado about the first place in the game from the SSR characters, but you guys know my opinion, that's Terrible Tornado. But anyway, let's talk about him, right? So in my opinion, he's very risky unit. I mean, he loses health on his first form and gains health on his second, so you can easily kill yourself with his first form. So have that in mind and be careful, guys. And in my experience, he does more damage on his second form, which doesn't make any sense since he gotta do more damage with his first form when he is not range type, since he loses health there. But anyway, his second form also does with the range attacks. So yeah, let's talk about his first skill, right? His first skill in the first form throws an axe towards the enemy and dashes to it. And his first skill on his second form, right, dashes back from the enemy and shoots it. As I said, his second form mostly does, not most, I mean all of his second skill forms skills, right? Oh my god, all of his second form skills does range type attacks. So yeah, have that in mind. And his second skill in the first form is a block. You can use it as a block, an attack, right? It's just a simple attack. And his second skill in the second form dashes you towards the enemy and shoots multiple times this time, right? And finally, his third skill, in which when you change between the forms, it does unique skill depending on the form you are. If you are with the second form and you're transferring to the first form, he does a AoE shooting type attack, right? And when he's at the first form, he just hits the enemy very hard with his axe. Oh my god. So yeah, that's all for him, by the way. I would build him for sure attack, critical rate and critical damage, right? Because he gets a bonus damage from crits because of his port potential, right? Absolutely, as I said, same goes for Genos. I mean, absolutely goes for Zombieman. Like Genos, he benefits from the port potential because it gives him composure damage based on his critical rate. So make sure to put some composure stats on his memories and wills as well, like Genos. So I mean, come on guys, he is a must build. He does insanely big damage, insanely big damage. I would say he's on the second place, right? Probably like that. I'm debating between Silverfang or Saitama for the third place, but nah, Silverfang is way too powerful, dude. Okay, so Fubuki, this is the last character that I don't even have, right? Well, she is actually very simple. I tried her, as I said, at the gaming club. Well, she's just a decent H-type character in general, right? I mean, her first skill is a barrier that reflects the enemy attack or a combo, but you gotta time it perfectly. Her second skill deals AoE range damage and can do even more damage after you use your third skill. Keep that in mind. Again, you gotta charge up your third skill. So to activate, and the first and the third skill were a boost, right? So it's kinda the same as a Silverfang, right? It's gonna boost your first and second skill after you use it. So I mean, it's literally, oh my god, not like Silverfang, but like Meta Knight. My bad, guys. So yeah, Fubuki is the same as the Meta Knight. Overall, she's just a decent character if you're lacking her range characters, right? But keep in mind, her range is kinda short compared to the other range type characters such as Meta Knight, Turbo Tornado, and even Genos, right? So she has a shorter range, keep that in mind. It's even more sad that the fact I got the SSR impression arms for her, but I don't have her. So yeah, kinda triggered, but it is what it is. But yeah, I would build her attack, critical rate and critical damage again. Since she has a positive critical rate, she can benefit from it. It's not about the potential this time, it's just that she doesn't have a negative critical rate. So yeah, attack, critical rate and critical damage will do the job. Well, where should we rate her? I mean, again, as I said, If you are lacking range type characters, if that's how you got, like, build her, right? This is gonna be my tier list, guys. I don't know if you're gonna agree with it, but just give me your opinion on the comments. What do you think about this tier list? And if you disagree with something, we may discuss it, because yeah, I said when I started recording, right, that this is based on my experience. So I may be wrong in some places, but overall I think I can rank them like that, since I played with these people, with these characters a lot. Yeah, I mean, as I said again, I'm gonna repeat myself, this is just my opinion. So yeah, okay, if you find this video helpful for all, guys, again, leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out videos like that. And yeah, see you in the next one.